Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday Namaste experience. This is what we do here. We dive into the experience of what Namaste really means: to bless, to heal, to love. And today we're going to have what I believe is going to be a very beautiful, powerful session. I sent out an email last night letting people know that we're going to have a hot one. So we're glad to see all of you. And yet at the same time, I think this may be one of the more simple and direct lessons that we've been sharing. So let's just dive right in. I'm going to read you a short bit and then we will go ahead and talk about it a little bit. This lesson is called what really matters. What really matters. Not what kind of matters, or what sometimes matters, or what matters even a lot. This is what really matters. You know, it's very similar to that beautiful line in A Course in Miracles. I am here only to be truly helpful. Truly helpful means all the way. It means no holding back. And I think this is one of the most important ingredients in the spiritual awakening, is we have to be fully committed, no hold back, full engagement. And so this falls right in line with that, what really matters. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up. We'll read it and then we'll share a little bit about it. Okay. So once again, what really matters. It doesn't matter what church you attend or what religion you follow. Even the most ancient reveal but a splinter of the truth. It makes no difference what sacred book you read or don't read. Even the deepest and most profound will be burned in the fire one day. It doesn't matter if you follow a guru or a saint, a priest or a rabbi. All of them one day will stop breathing and be buried in the same soil as every other creature under the sun. Of course, we could go on and many other examples. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much fame you have. None of that matters, all of those external things. So let's find out what does matter. Here it is. That your heart be set on fire by love, and that everyone who comes to you, the good or the bad, a saint or a sinner, a prince or a slave, that everyone who comes to you feels the heat that radiates from your heart, no matter what the outer circumstances present. Let's do that one more time, because this is it right here. That your heart be set on fire by love, and that everyone who comes to you, the good or the bad, the saint or the sinner, the prince or the slave, that they all feel the heat that radiates from your heart. And I capitalize these three words always on purpose: no matter what the outer circumstances present. That's the key. It's the same no matter what, no matter who I'm in front of, no matter what's happening, my heart is on fire with love. And that heat radiates to whatever is happening, to whoever it's happening to. It could be a high, beautiful, wonderful experience. I could be being attacked. And yet my heart radiates that love. That's what really matters. If you live in a city, the people who pass you on the street will notice a quality they can't quite identify, but their hearts will instantly burst open. Have you ever known anyone like that? Just being in their presence, your heart bursts open. That's the quality we're talking about. Now, this one is very particular for us. If you live in a spiritual community, no one will care what you believe or how you practice those beliefs, because the way you love and care for one another will speak for itself. We'll come back to that in a moment. In the end, only one thing that really matters: were you able to be the instrument of God's love in the world? Once again, were you able to be the instrument of God's love in the world? If the answer is yes, no one will even remember the other details of your life. Wouldn't that be great?
Yes.
No one knows any of those, like those little things. Who cares what your career was, what you did? How did you love? Were you an instrument of love in the world? Let's go back to this one line. If you live in a spiritual community, and this includes not just those of us who live here at Namaste, but all of you who are here with us on Zoom practically every day, if you live in a spiritual community, no one will care what you believe or how you practice those beliefs, because the way you love and care for one another or about one another will speak for itself. The love will speak for itself. This came to me last night when I was in my bathtub. That's where the best ideas always come, because I was just marveling at the energy and the attitude here at Namaste Village, and just how open-hearted and loving I feel this community to be. How much love is expressed here every day, whether it be at the breakfast table or here at session or just during the day when we pass each other. Even when difficult things arise, even when we annoy one another, or there's a difficult meeting that has to, still I feel the foundation of this overpowering love and fire here. When we gather here every morning, and I look out and I see all these amazing, beautiful people who are so dedicated and so committed, and you're just as much part of this. We can feel the love radiating through the screen. This is what really, really matters. All of those other details will be gone. And like it says in that last line, if you do this, if you really live this, that's all they're going to remember anyway. Because it's the people that we know that are always there for us, always loving, always waiting for that opportunity to bless. What more can you desire? This morning, I had someone, I think they were in India, and somehow they found me on Telegram. And this person has been texting me questions, and I've been doing my best to answer them. They just read the Moses Code, and he was determined to find out how to use the Moses Code to increase his business and his customer base. And this has been going on for a while. I need to keep reminding him it's not about that. First of all, those things happen by themselves when you know what really, really matters. Seek first the kingdom of God and God's righteousness, and everything else will be given to you. You don't have to focus on that. And I've texted him back several times saying that. And then I get the old, yeah, but how do I do that? Or, yeah, but don't I need to focus on the money at all? Like, no. Keep your heart open and love no matter what. Find a community like this one, even if it's your family or if it's at your work or your friends, whatever community you find yourself in. What's that noise? Whatever community you find yourself in, use that as the place that you've been given by the Holy Spirit to express the love that is your very foundation. Because if you do that, nobody will remember anything else about you. Wouldn't that be nice? They don't even care because your heart was on fire and they knew it, they felt it, and they were healed by it. I'm looking at the back of the wall here, and the daily word today is healing. I claim, what does that say? I claim wholeness and I am healed. I claim wholeness and I am healed. And then the Course in Miracles lessons for the day. My Father gives all peace, power rather. My Father gives all power unto me. What is power? Is it the worldly definition of power, or is this the power that we're talking about? what we shared, is that true power, to be an instrument of peace or an instrument of the love of God. There's one thing we always need to remember of being an instrument. An instrument does not play itself. It can't. If I had my instrument here, I would show you. If it had an imagination, maybe it would imagine that the strings are vibrating and music was coming from it, but it's silent until it surrenders and falls back into the arms of the master musician. And then the strings begin to vibrate and music fills the air. That's what you're called to be, an instrument of peace. Just as St. Francis was, as so many others have been, that's what you're called to be. So, Vicki, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you and Teddy take it home. I'm sure I set you up rather well.
Good morning, Brother James. Good morning, everyone. Lovers of truth, lovers of God. That's what we are. It's a great world to live in, the love of God. So, the practical piece, how do you do that? How do you keep your heart on fire? Well, I guess it comes down to being very present, being right here now. And something Teddy shared, we were on a joint meeting last night with some brothers in Australia, and he was talking about open-mindedness. And open-mindedness might be another way of staying in vision, staying in the vision of spirit, of essence, as our being and as each other's being. Not worrying about any appearances and letting that vision fill us, because what that vision is my brother is a soul, is a spirit, is the light of God. No matter what's going on, no matter what he's saying, no matter whether I agree with him, I don't agree with him, right now I can join with him. We have a friend, Katja, that you know, some of you know, she's a doctor, and she wants to be a drummer. She's a doctor who wants to be a drummer, and she comes with all her heart and soul. But last night, she had some spiritual experiences. And last night, she found herself in the ER. And she said it was all different. She found herself locked into the patient in front of her and joined with him. And this happened with every patient she had at night. She works the night shift at an ER. She joined with them, and that's what she was doing. She was doctoring the way she drums. So that's a great example. Some of us knit and we do it passionately, or we wash dishes, or we sing, or we dance. Whatever it is that we do wholeheartedly, open-mindedly, and in the present, where you don't know if time came or went, that's that state of being present to the vision of who we are. That's what Christ's vision is. And if we just bring that to everyone and everything. She loves drumming. She's not crazy about working in the ER. But last night, the ER was as lit up as the drum when she drums. It was, and her example filled me so much that I woke up with it. She told me last night, I woke up with it this morning. I was feeling that power, like today's lesson, unlimited power of when we really join and connect with one another, not about circumstance, but about just being present and listening to one another. Then the circumstances can be what they may. And it only takes one of us to do it. It doesn't take the other guy to do it. What happens most always is the other guy, kind of through entrainment, comes right into that frequency, that vibration of love, and they become present too, and they heal, as do we, because the only healing is thinking there's anything but love. That's really the healing, that anything could be that isn't love. Loving is the state of awareness that is everything, and we can just be ourselves wherever we are, wholeheartedly, open-mindedly. Just be ourselves and be present to one another and join with each other. Essence, join spirit, see only that. Like Jesus was a man who saw the face of Christ in all his brothers and remembered God. That's what I'm saying. And don't worry what it looks like. Don't worry if someone agrees, if they get better, they don't get better. None of it matters. Unconditional love is an expression of our divinity. It is building the kingdom of heaven on earth as it is in heaven. When we are the instruments of love, that's what we're called to do. Here's another example. I got Victor's second book. So this is a great, Victor's a blessed Christ being brother who lives in this all the time. And this book uses music as a way of connecting to love and the power that we are, that transforms everything, not by overt power, but by letting go of external power and sitting and enjoying and celebrating how much we love each other for no reason. No reason, doesn't matter. Just love each other. So that's what I've got to say. This is a good story about how to do that.
Yeah, good. I can't wait. I haven't read that book yet. I'm looking forward to it.
It's, very Don Juan style. It's called The Spirit of Music, which is the Spirit of God opened in us. That's all it is. Open it up. Music needs to speak. The voice of Christ needs to speak, and it speaks love. It speaks kindness. It speaks welcome. It speaks celebration. It speaks all of me. Take all of me. It's wholehearted. It's open-minded, and it's right now. And if we're not that, then we need to be that for ourselves for a moment. Oh, let me be present to myself for a moment. Let me be open and welcoming to every feeling I have. Let it in. Don't cover it up, and bring it to the inner altar of that Christ self in ourselves. And let what isn't so fall away, and let the fire that's like a Bunsen burner. So what if there's only a little flicker? Turn that flicker up with our attention on it, with our desire, with that only purpose. Love no matter what. It's the answer no matter what the question.
Thank you. Wow. And we have to get Victor back on here one of these days soon. And there are two things that flow together that you mentioned. Number one, Katya wanted to be a drummer, and Victor, this, one of the greatest bass players of all time, and being locked in. That's that Katya was locked in like a drummer at the ER. And in a band, it's the drummer and the bass player. They are the ones who lock in together. And when two join as one, when the drummer and the bass player join together and they are holding that rhythm, they are locked in together, there's nothing that can go wrong, because it's that locked in energy that we're talking about here, to love no matter what. When you're locked in to love, when you're locked into your I am consciousness or the Christ consciousness within you, there's nothing you can do wrong, because everything flows naturally and easily. The music begins to flow. Your life becomes the music, becomes the song. So that's what we need, is just to lock into this lesson, just like a drummer and a great bass player do.
That's what we do right now, Jimmy. You have invited each one of us to lock in with you 100% no matter what. And we are two or more gathered. And that is all the power of holiness in itself expressing. Thank you, and thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for listening to that beat. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so you're kind of the drummer of our group, Teddy. So no, maybe Vicky's the drummer. You're more the bass player. I'll change it. Why don't you give us that strong downbeat bass energy that takes us home?
Well, what I would say is this, and this is based on my experience of Jesus and the Course, and what I've come to know just through however we come to know things. We already all are what love is. We are what love is. And it's through forgiveness that we remember that. And as we remember it about ourselves, we see it everywhere, because we don't see anything that's outside of us. We see what's within, and then we extend it out. We see our brothers that way too. We all have a function in God's plan. And as love, we can come to know what that function is. And it is through the fulfillment of the function that we do as Jesus did and not have to repeat space-time and bring space-time closer to the non-necessity of it. So the good thing to remember is it doesn't matter what we think of ourselves. We all already are what love is. And we find that out through forgiveness, because all forgiveness is self-forgiveness. And at the bottom of what we are is love. That's it. God created love. There is only love. And we are created as the love of God. That's what we come to know. And that's what we come to extend. And then we fulfill our function in the plan so that God's plan for salvation is done. And that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants an end to the necessity to have to, I don't even know what to say, compete or struggle or whatever their life seems to be in the world. Nobody wants to do that. And there's only one way for that to happen: to be what you were created to be and to fulfill your function. And you were created by love as love. So it gets simple there.
Let it be that simple. You were created by love, as love, for love, only love. That's the lesson today. Only love. It's the only thing that's true. It's the only thing you are. It's the only thing you can ever be. So why try and be something else? Why? Just relax into this. Let go of the need to do anything or to accomplish anything else. Just be in that love. So let's go ahead as we begin to radiate that energy. Let's one more time hear this short lesson. It doesn't matter what church you attend or what religion you follow. Even the most ancient reveals but a splinter of the truth. It makes no difference what sacred books you read or don't read. Even the deepest and the most profound will be burned in the fire one day. It doesn't even matter if you follow a guru or a saint, a priest or a rabbi. All of them will one day stop breathing and be buried in the same soil that every other creature is buried under the sun. Here's what does matter: that your heart be set on fire by love, and that everyone who comes to you, the good or the bad, the saint or the sinner, a priest or a prince or a slave, that they all feel the heat that radiates from you, no matter what the outer circumstances present. If you live in a city, the people who pass you will notice a quality that they can't quite identify, but their hearts will instantly burst open. If you live in a spiritual community, no one will care what you believe or practice, because the way that you love and care for one another will speak for itself. In the end, there's only one thing that really, really matters. Were you able to be the instrument of God's love in the world? If the answer is yes, no one will even remember the other details of your life. That's the goal. Then when we roll off this mortal coil, no one even remembers any of the details. They just say, and they know that, oh, their heart was open. They were the presence of love itself. That's it right there. So let's go out and live the only thing that really matters. It's so simple, really. We just have to make the commitment to be that instrument of love so that we can be played by the master itself. So thank you, everyone. What a beautiful sharing, as always. Let's go ahead and we'll do our final prayer together. If you'd like to stand, you're welcome to. So here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.